Well, I was nervous. I've never done anything like this before.
Oh, don't be nervous. It's us.
Right.
I mean,
we really haven't really either until
Well, you know what?
a couple months ago.
I'm glad to be a part of the growing experience.
thank you. We are so glad that you're
Brownie points. They paid me to say it.
We didn't. We are broke.
That's true.
Hi everyone, welcome to Great Beer Adventure. Amanda here. Today's episode deals with one of those things that we have all dealt with, trying to get our friends into craft beers. We head down to York, Maine and talk to Jonathan Pickering at the Some Brewing tasting room. A few times throughout the interview you will hear the voice of Dave, the elder. There are two. There's a younger Dave and an older Dave, and they're both co-owners, and they're both related. Father, son. Yeah. So a few times you'll hear Dave the Elder's voice as he helps the patrons that come into the tasting room. This is a bit of a longer show than what we have brought to you so far, but there are lots of laughs in our final round. So make sure you stay on all the way till the end. We are sitting in the tasting room of Some Brewing down in York, Maine, and we are sitting here with John Pickering.
Ladies,
Hello and welcome.
Hello.
good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. So I try to know a lot about my guests before I sit down with them, but we just ran into each other on Sunday.
We did, like, recent.
Yeah, like 3 days ago.
Right.
Right. I decided the topic was wonderful, and now we need to get it down, and
It was destiny.
it was.
It
It was
was.
destiny.
And now they're new best friends.
Besties.
Oof,
Besties.
totally besties. BFFs.
Biffles.
Biffles. I don't even know.
Best friends for life.
Oh. Anyway,
End scene.
could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Jonathan. I was born in Portsmouth. I went to Portsmouth High School. Got into the beer business about 6 years ago, about 7 years ago, about homebrewing. My next door neighbor from my mother's house made a stout, and I thought it was the best thing in the world, and he said that he just made it at his house. He gave me some of his equipment. I bought some new equipment. Yeah, I just fell in love with it. So
Nice.
I give you my early childhood for some reason. I don't know why, but I figured I'd just go right into the brewing process. But yeah, it was basically rounded out with my next door neighbor from my mother's house.
Oh,
That's how I got into this.
Lovely.
Yes.
So I think Jen's going to grab the first round.
I am. We are starting with the tasting. So what are we going to taste?
Well, today we're going to have first, it would be the German-style Hefeweizen. It's a German-style wheat beer. It's got some lemon flavors from the wheat. It's a refreshing summertime beer and a good introduction. A lot of non-beer drinkers like it. And I'm not going to be, sexist, but a lot of females that are not normally beer drinkers tend to enjoy this beer first time around getting into craft.
I think it's really complex, and that's probably why women enjoy it, because we like something with a little more complexity.
I totally agree. Because women are complex creatures.
In a good way.
absolutely.
In a very, very good way.
A lot of women on the beer scene now, it's not that they weren't, but they're more apparent now that craft has become what it is now today and growing.
Mm-hmm.
They're just venturing out and showing their complexity, as if you call it.
Yes, intelligence.
Intelligence.
I think, yes, intelligence.
Absolutely. This beer does have a very spicy, wheaty
Yes.
taste to it.
Yep, Hefeweizens are, like I said, Hefeweizen yeast, the wheat characteristics. It's almost hazy in nature. That is the abundance of wheat in this beer. Like I said, I like it just because it's got that kind of not tartness, but like lemon-like tart-like flavors. Springtime, usually you'll see these pop up around into the summer, so
Right.
very refreshing, if I do say so myself.
I agree.
And you should. You
Thank
should,
you.
because it is. It is a nice, drinkable summer refreshing treat.
Yep.
And I think hazy, not only in the look of it, but it's kind of like this a hazy taste almost. Like things kind of like work together, and I don't know if I'm making it clear, but they all kind of meld, and and become one. It's a very
Instead of being too overpowering.
Yes.
Is that,
Yeah, sometimes people get thrown off by the haze. It's like I said, it is traditionally a hazy beer, but you're right. It does add to the flavor.
Definitely. That is tasty.
It is quite tasty.
That's why I chose it for the first one.
Very nice. Thank you. Anything else you'd like to say about it?
Besides that, it's one of my favorite beers during the summertime. No, I think the beer speaks for itself. I mean, like I said, I think the beer speaks for itself as far as I'm concerned with Hefeweizens.
Excellent.
Now, I know that some of the bombers are sold up our way. We're about 45 minutes, Portland.
Yep.
How big is your reach, first off, for distribution here?
We self-distribute up here in York County, or for the most part for right now, until we actually get a distributor up here. But Vacation Land is our primary outside of York County and beyond. We go up as far as Bangor. Portland is a good scene to be in. We just did Prohibition Pig. We just did a beer release up there. They kind of took over their tap list.
Thirsty
Pig, that's it. I'm sorry.
Thirsty
Thank
Pig.
you.
Prohibition Bake is a brewery.
Yes, correct. Up in Vermont.
Right.
Oh.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that.
Prohibition Pig, Blind Pig, they're all melding together in my mind.
So many pigs, so much bacon.
I apologize to
That's
the Thirsty
okay.
Pig up in Portland. But there's a lot of pigs, so.
There are a lot of pigs out there.
Yes.
Sorry.
Now, the question I was going for is this one available in a bomber, or is it just at the tasting
Yes,
room?
absolutely. The beers that we have on tap here, we give Vacation Land cases of beer of every beer that we bake. So, I mean, everything that's on that tip list, Vacation Land gets and distributes up there. So if you look up Vacation Land, I'm sure you can find out exactly how many stores we're in and what kind of what they're carrying at the moment. And you can call the stores that you know where we're at. To give you the list right now would be, I don't have the list in front of me.
No, that's completely fine.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that some of our listeners can go out and taste this, because it's a very delicious example of this type of beer.
Yeah, no, Dave Rowland, the head brewer, he's been brewing for over 10 years, and he's got this style down pretty good. So he does a wonderful job.
Well done.
So kudos to Dave.
Kudos,
Yay,
Dave. Very nice. And can you say the name of it again?
This is our Dent Head, which is the name of the beer, and the style is the German Hefeweizen.
Great.
I never say Hefeweizen, right?
Hefeweizen.
You kind of have to get the German accent in there just to pronounce it, but
Yeah.
Yep.
I always call it a Hefeweizen.
people
because
call
I
it
can't say-
hefs, hefes. I've heard people call it that. So
Hefe.
yeah, you know, just
Hefe.
hefs. If you just want to just shorten it down, just say hef. That's perfectly okay.
It's like Hugh Hefner.
Like-
Not really, but
No, that's not. No.
Do you think it? Do
Dead
you
wrong.
think? No. I don't know. He could be a spicy beer.
he's a spicy.
He's old. He's
beer.
old. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he
dated.
used to be spicy.
He's like 90s, isn't he?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
You know,
He's-
kudos to what he's done. But
sure.
why
yeah.
not? Why not? But he's
Yeah.
I wouldn't make no.
No.
No, thank you.
Nope. And we're
Also-
walking.
All right, next. What's the next beer we're gonna try?
Or walking.
The next beer we're going to try next is the mainly pale ale. It's a beer that's made with all Maine ingredients from Aroostook County, Maine hops, Maine everything. So it's we decided, since we're in Maine, make a beer that now that they're producing grains and hops up here, why not try it out and showcase a beer on it? So we did.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we like
Thank you.
showcasing the entire state of Maine in our.
Maine is a great state,
Podcast.
and things are happening up here. So, what better way to showcase that than a beer?
So smart.
Yeah, we have a very intense rollout plan for the podcast.
Yeah.
Take Maine by storm,
Okay.
and then take over the world.
Pretty simple.
You're almost there.
I know.
Maine's pretty big.
I know.
We're enormous.
Yeah.
We're huge in Japan.
Oh, in Japan.
I don't know that we.
No.
I thought-
Korea, we've had
I
some
thought it was like
listens in
Botswana
Korea
or something.
and Nepal
Botswana.
and France. We have some.
France.
We have some French
Bonjour.
listeners.
Nice.
Bonjour.
Look at
All
this.
right, let's try this.
Let's try what?
The beer.
This is the mainly pale ale. Aroostook County, like we get all our hops and our grains from. It's made with Cascade and Mount Hood. It's very light.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 5.4%, I believe. It's
got
got
a
a
very-
light citrus smell to it.
Yeah, it's very light smell to it.
Yep, you'll notice that it's got, like I said, light citrus from the Cascades.
Cascades. Explain that.
Cascades are a type of hop. It's a citrus hop, like Cascade, Centennials, and Citra.
Oh, okay.
They're all the flavor profile and the aroma profile are more citrusy or grapefruit in nature. So, and it's a very good hop to use.
I can see that. I can taste that, actually, and see it. It's lovely. It's a little lighter.
Jen here is our resident newbie. Not necessarily in the drinking,
No.
but in the understanding the beer.
Excellent.
The in-depth piece to it, the behind the scenes.
How in depth have you gotten?
Well, how many episodes?
3.
3, there you go. So I've been drinking beer for,
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean,
the inner workings of the
the
beer
process of making beer is fantastic.
Mm.
I would love to spend a day just talking to you about it, but we only
We
have
would
how much
love
time?
that.
Yeah, we don't have that much.
No.
Not enough.
We're going to
time.
actually brew a beer
Oh,
soon.
great.
So you've got hop strands
We
right
do
out
have
here.
hot plants. Those are more for decor.
Yeah.
But they are some cascades, I believe, from when Dave planted them, and we also got some from friends. But I think that they're more. We might even put like a little cup out, for people to smell them on tables, or some of our pale ales or something like that. We might, tell people to squeeze it a couple times and plop it in their drink for an extra smell. Something.
I've never even heard of that.
It's a little fancy.
It does sound fancy.
But it's not a bad idea to do that. I mean, but for the most part, it's a decor piece. Yeah, and it takes 2 to 3 years for them to bud. So this. I think that one in the middle is on its 2nd year. So I don't. It may or may not. Probably by next year, you'll have some good hops on there.
Cascades are sort of cascading, if you will.
Upwards.
Yes?
Wow.
Upwards.
Isn't it?
Upwards,
It's an
right?
upward
So
cascade.
It's an upward cascade. It's beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like very good, complex, very complex.
Like us.
Well then,
Cheers to that one.
cheers to everybody.
Cheers. We didn't actually clink and cheers
We
yet.
should, right?
Cheers.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
very good.
it's very smooth.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
very light, smooth, and
With a little
Yep,
tartness.
it's a yep. Since it's a lighter beer with the pale malts, the cascades can kind of shine through and not necessarily give it a tart, but maybe just a tinge of bitterness to it.
Yeah.
That might give it
okay.
that.
I like that tinge.
A tinge.
Yes.
Just a
Yeah,
tinge.
Yeah,
of
it's a very
bitterness.
well balanced beer, and for being light, I think Dave does a good job of keeping the bittering and the aroma and whatnot in check with this beer. So
Nice.
yeah,
It's lovely.
So at this point, I think we'll be moving on to our next round, round 2.
I survived round 1.
Good job, you survived
Well
round 1.
done.
I have to admit, it's probably the easiest one. You get to drink beer.
Oh, right. So tell me about round 2.
All right, so round 2. In round 2, we like to take a deeper look at whatever our theme is. And our theme this week, I talked to you on Sunday, and I said, if you could talk about beer, what would you talk about? And you told us how much you like helping macro drinkers become a little more easy to hang out with, I guess.
It's very exciting to do that, especially since I serve here. You see a lot of customers come in and they immediately they walk up to the bar and they're like, I'm not a beer drinker. I drink Bud. You know what I mean? Like they always come out and they're very defensive about it. Like I'm a wine drinker, so I don't know if I'm going to like anything. And that's a good challenge for me because off the bat I'm like, well, what do you normally like to drink? Normally, I mean, what do your tastes like? And if they're a beer drinker, they like Stella or it's Bud. Mm-hmm. It's normally one of those two things that they come out and say, and I'm like, thankfully we have a great beer list because we run the gamut of styles. So I'm not going to start them off with something that's ultra bitter or too crazy for them. But I'd like to pick the style that's craft, but is still in the taste realm that they can handle.
Right.
So 9 times out of 10, that first beer that we had, the Hefeweizen usually does it. I had a guy from Texas come in, and he's like, if I can do his voice right, he's like, I'm a Bud drinker. I'm like, okay, great. So I was like, I didn't even, without even noticing. I mean, like, I went over to the tap, I poured the Hefeweizen, and he's like, I like this. This is good. And then he walked away. Another scenario is I had a bunch of 80-year-olds come in for a birthday party.
Oh, no.
They wanted some space at the last moment, and they come in, and they were like, we're wine drinkers. And I'm like, well, this is an interesting place to choose to come in if you just only drink wine. But it's, I pour them the first 3. We, between a Saison, the Hefeweizen, and the mainly pale. Every single one of them got a beer, and they came back to say that they enjoyed either the Saison or the Hefeweizen, and they came back for another glass of beer. And that feels good only because that you don't have to be scared to come into these places. And as a non, craft drinker, or because it's intimidating.